Hey everybody, it's Casey, and I am going to share with you my middle school writing units tonight. I'm going to just go ahead and make myself a little smaller and hop right in. So there are 10 writing units in total, and I'm just going to share with you what those 10 are. So for the persuasive writing units, there is a product review, and this is where students write a product review like you would see on Amazon of a product that they love or hate. And they write if whether a consumer should purchase it or not purchase it. The book recommendation would be students write a book recommendation about a book they want to persuade others to read. An important issue letter, they select an issue and then they address it to either somebody within their home, school, city, state, national, or even the world level. And they do a little research with this one as well. In the informative explanatory writing units, there's a blog post unit, and it just walks students through how they can showcase either a hobby, talent, interest, or even a piece of advice that they would give and put into a blog post format. The literary analysis is where students read and analyze character setting and plot to show the themes of the text. And then the quote to live by essay, students select one quote that symbolizes something that they believe strongly about the way life should be lived. And they explore what that quote means to them, how it applies to their lives, and how the quote applies to others' lives. For the narrative writing units, the deleted scene is where students take a book that they're familiar with, that they've recently read, and they write about a scene that did not happen but could have happened or was implied but the author didn't write about. Could also be like a flashback, flash forward, or an extended ending. The memoir vignettes, students pick a theme that threads over several significant life memories they have, and they write short memoirs that all come back around on that common theme. The narrative nonfiction, students select a news article that they like, and then they reimagine the news article as a story that they bring to life with narrative writing. And the last one is a research writing unit, where students explore questions that they have and ultimately pick one of those questions to research and write a research paper about. So those are the 10. So imagine making one purchase and having your entire middle school writing curriculum done for you this school year. What would be even better than that is the curriculum has a laid out scope and sequence, is aligned to meet every single standard for persuasive writing, informative explanatory writing, narrative writing, and research, and uses best teaching practices to highly engage all students in your classroom. So why did I create the middle school writing units? The first reason I created them is because I had been doing writing workshop, loved the concept of writing workshop, but felt like it was a little bit too open-ended and hard to meet and assess grade level writing standards, where students are working on their writing at their own pace and kind of always in different parts of the process. I felt like there really did need to be those starting and stopping points where we started a writing unit, we ended a writing unit, we moved on. I also love the idea of exploring different genres of writing with students and having those sequenced across the year so that students weren't maybe always falling into that same genre of writing. They had experience with a variety. I also didn't want to keep doing the same writing mini lessons over and over again. I found that doing the different writing units really helped me to break out of certain molds that I like. You can only do a show don't tell lesson so many times. Like, I think it's important to think outside the box and have unique mini lessons so that students feel like you're bringing them something new. And the last part is I didn't want the writing units to be the same old, same old. I know that students have experienced kind of that same type of writing again and again. So when I created the 10 writing units, I tried to pick something that was a writing project that maybe they haven't done before or were a little bit unfamiliar with, that would stretch them, they would learn about that genre and be interested and pulled in by. So the basics about the writing units, each of the 10 writing units focuses in on a different writing genre. So I showed you there's 3 persuasive writing units, 3 informative explanatory, 3 narrative writing units, and then there's 1 research-based writing unit. Each writing unit contains 13 to 16 writing mini lessons, and each unit is also intended to last about 3 to 4 weeks, and that's based on having 45 to 60 minutes a day to teach writing. So as you're doing the writing units, the writing workshop format always stays the same. but the mini lesson concept changes. So I'm going to show you quickly what that writing workshop format looks like. So the writing workshop daily structure, you've got that mini lesson statement there. That's where you start out to give them the focus of the day. And then you move into the modeling portion where students, where you're taking the mentor text and you're showing students, how you would apply mini lesson to writing for that day. Next, you move into the have a go, and you're releasing that out to students where students are getting a head start on what they're being asked to do in their application for the day. Possibly they're working with a partner and getting some feedback. And then it comes the application time where students are actually applying that writing mini lesson to their own writing. The share, I think, is a really important part of writing workshop, coming back and creating that community of writers and having students share out their ideas. That also sometimes really sparks an idea for somebody else when another student is sharing out an idea. And it's just a fun way to end class, especially with writing. And then something you should know about the writing units is they are designed to be a year-long curriculum. So I know I'm going to be talking to language arts teachers who are in a variety of different teaching situations. Some of you may be just writing teachers, and some of you may teach reading and writing. So if you are a teacher who's responsible for teaching writing but not reading, your scope and sequence might look something like this. I recommend alternating the types of writing students do across units so that the different skills like the persuasive, informative, explanatory, narrative, and research are spiraled back to again and again across the school year. So this would just be an example when you're alternating those different genres and you are writing teachers, so you get to teach writing all year long. For those of you who are responsible for teaching writing and reading with a literacy block that is less than 90 minutes in length, I do recommend alternating between reading and writing units. So your scope and sequence might look a little bit more like this. And once again, in this case, I would recommend that you for sure hit on every single one of the different genres at least once. And then last, if you are a teacher who is responsible for teaching reading and writing, but you have more than 90 minutes to teach them, I would recommend going for it and doing the whole year-long writing curriculum alongside those reading units. So let's start by looking at a writing unit plan and see what that looks like. Some things I want you to notice about the writing unit plan: each writing mini lesson is aligned to a Common Core state standard, and it takes students through the writing process. So let's take a peek at that writing process. And I'm sorry if you hear my dog snoring in the background. Sully, I let you be in here, but I didn't need dog snores in my video. So if we take a peek at the writing process here, every writing unit starts out with genre immersion, where you are showing students the mentor text that comes with that writing unit, and students are studying that mentor text, observing what the author does. And then the next piece, students start to pre-write. So they start to generate their ideas, get those out, and then they move into organizing and or outlining their ideas before they go into drafting. Once they get that draft completed, they will do some revision lessons, an editing lesson, and finally they will publish and share. So that is what every unit has, this same writing process throughout. But if we take a look at a unit plan, this unit plan happens to be for the blog post writing unit. So you can kind of see in action how we start with that genre immersion. We do some pre-writing so students can get ideas of maybe what they would want to write a blog post about. They get into that organizing and outlining phase, and they are using the graphic organizer to outline and plan the structure of their blog post. They're gathering the information that they're going to need as far as facts, definitions, details, and then they go into drafting, and they take a couple of days to draft. They draft the body, and then they draft the introduction and then the conclusion. And then they go into a few revision mini lessons focused on different parts of the informative, explanatory standards. And then they do what's called a sounding board, where they read their blog post aloud to their classmates and give each other feedback. They do editing, and then finally they publish and share. So All the mini lessons change each unit, but the idea of the writing process stays the same. Next up, let's take a look at what is included in each writing unit. So you have the unit plan that I just showed you. Every single one of those 13 to 16 mini lessons in the writing unit comes with a detailed mini lesson. And so let's go ahead and look at what those entail. So I tried to write them to be pretty straightforward. So you have the mini lesson statement, ideas on exactly how you can model that mini lesson statement with the mentor text provided, and then what you can do to have students have a go, and then what they'd be doing for their writing application. There are questions for writing conferences that are written specifically for the mini lesson for that day. And then once again, a specific question that you can have students share out at the end as they come back and share what they did as writers that day. So as I mentioned, every writing unit comes with a mentor text. So the mentor text that I'm bringing up for this writing unit is for the memoir vignettes. So as you can see, there's a foreword, and then there's the memoir, the first memoir vignette, and then the second, and the third. So this is the mentor text that we keep coming back to again and again to show students what are memoir vignettes. I wrote this mentor text. I wrote every single mentor text for each writing unit, and sometimes several of them. So the mentor texts were written specific to that writing unit to focus in on how the writing unit is going to be assessed, how the mini lessons are taught. So everything ties together really nice. I think that a lot of times we go and we search for a mentor text, and that doesn't always really work out because it doesn't align with what we're teaching and what we're necessarily assessing. I shared with you how those questions for the writing conferences are written specific to the mini lesson. It also comes with student handouts that would be needed, and also a writing mini lessons presentation. So let me see if I can find where that was. There it is. All right, so we had the mini lesson, and then if I would have kept going, we had, so there is PowerPoint presentation that goes along with each mini lesson. This is really nice because it keeps you as a teacher showing the students which part of the mini lesson you're on. It's a great visual for students as well as you're going through the mini lesson. So this comes in a PDF, a PowerPoint, and then also a Google Slides format. So it just takes each part of the mini lesson, it puts it on its own slide. And then there's student handouts for each mini lesson. And once again, these come in a PDF, Word document, and then also as Google Docs. So all the files are editable and digital. And then also included in each writing unit are different rubric options. So the different rubric options include a standards-based rubric. So this is totally aligned to the Common Core state standards for each grade level. There's also a mini lesson based rubric that is written specifically to the mini lessons that were used for that unit. There is a rubric called just feedback. So what I found is a lot of times students will just look at their score and they won't look at anything that you've said to them. So it basically has the criteria, and then it has places for students, or I'm sorry, for teachers to write feedback to students. And then the last one is a student self-assessment rubric. And I love to have students self-assess before I grade it, because a lot of times I feel like students are very in tune with where they are at. And it's also just a great activity for them to be thinking about where they're falling on that rubric and becoming familiar with the rubric. So I'm just going to scroll through. This is a just feedback rubric. This would be a mini lessons based rubric. This would be a standards based rubric. And then we've got the self-assessment rubric. So lots of different rubric options included for you. And once again, these are all in PDF and editable forms, because I know you'll probably want to switch those up depending on what standards you use and maybe how you teach the mini lessons. You might have to tweak something. So then the next part You can purchase all 10 writing units together. And if you do that with the year-long writing curriculum bundle, you will also get the student writing companion workbook, which has like fiction leads, nonfiction leads. It has some pages for editing. It has some pages for students to keep like mentor sentences that they really like that they want to refer to as they write. It's just a nice companion workbook that they can use and reference as they're drafting and in writing workshop. Writing assessments are also included, and these are on demand where students will write for 10 minutes at a time across the year. And then there's a rubric that coincides with that that you can use to measure student progress across the year. There's also writing conference materials and guided writing materials, a beginning of the year writing interview, and a writing I've published student tracker. So those are some bonuses that are included with the year-long bundle. So there's 3 different options for purchasing the writing units. The first one is what I've been referencing, the year-long writing curriculum bundle, where you get 10 units, you save $30, plus you get all the extras that I just talked about. You can also buy writing curriculum mini bundles, and those are 4 units. So it's one from each of the genres of writing. And then in those, you save $8. You can also purchase any of the writing units individually for $10 each. I'm going to share a few reviews from the year-long curriculum bundle. So this one is from Amy, and it says, "This has been my first year teaching 7th and 8th graders. We have mostly been in person, but had to go remote for 2 weeks and when one of our students was quarantined. It worked great for remote learning as well. The lessons are so detailed and guide the teacher easily with minimal prep work. I was easily able to upload the slides and handouts to Google Classroom. We are on our 4th unit and my students have done well on all of them. I'm teaching 7th and 8th graders who have a wide range of writing skills. They continue to improve with each unit." And I will say, I will echo that the students with a wide range of writing skills, the way the units are written, you're going to be able to really differentiate nicely and help out those students that are struggling a little bit more and really push students that are looking for more advanced options with teaching this way. Another review comes from Shannon, and it says, "This is an absolute treasure trove. I cannot believe the level of detail and work that has gone into this product. It's like nothing I have ever used. Casey should be so proud of what she has made. It's truly an entire curriculum. I teach in Australia, and it has been very easy to map against our curriculum, and the rubrics match perfectly. 6 stars if I could." So she's extremely kind, but I do like the point that even though this is aligned to the Common Core state standards, if you are using different standards, I do think that it will still line up really well with the writing. And then from Jessica, "This is the best thing I've purchased on TPT so far. It is comprehensive, easy to use, and has been a huge time saver for me on lesson planning. Not only that, but it is engaging for the students because this curriculum involves topics that they are interested in and gives them choice in their work. They are much more motivated to learn. If you're looking for an excellent writing curriculum, you have found it." I love that she points out that there's choice and then also how the writing units are unique topics that really do pull the students in. And then the last review, "This is just a phenomenal resource. I've used so many of your other reading and grammar resources that I have absolute confidence, but this is just a gold mine. Literally every piece of the lesson is included, even mentor texts, and the tasks are authentic, real-world options that engage and engross students. An amazing buy." So I wanted to share these with you just so, I encourage you to go and read more reviews as well. I'm a huge reviews person, but people are very happy with these writing units and the level of detail that are in them. So I've written these to really just be able to say, this is an awesome way to teach, and here's everything you need to teach this way. The link to the writing units is going to be in the video description. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to email me, to message me on any types of social media, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have or just ask a question on TPT. Thanks so much for tuning into this video, and I'll see you guys next time.